Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Laramie. Last episode we almost wiped, and in contrast this episode will be relatively calm with pretty much nothing happening basically. It's almost a filler episode, you could say. But it's stuff that I wanted to mention anyway for the sake of story continuity. I have no idea how to pronounce that word. I will leave that in like this. I'm gonna mention all of this anyway. And since we also don't really have any encounters or anything like that, I just decided to paint something less topical, you could say, but something that is still relatively nice, which the group pretty much uses every other day or so, on average, probably. Who knows? Anyway, enjoy. For the big areas, like basically the clove, I wanted to try these two. So yeah, let's start with this one. With that hell of a battle behind them, the group rests within the Great Hall to recover some of their wounds. Obviously, they can't leave yet, because they have to make sure that all the slimes are gone. So they decide to explore the halls further. Retelling the entire dungeon crawl now would probably be boring, so I'm just gonna mention some of the highlights, you could say. Anyway, I'm not really sure if this is by any chance still a Gravelord Grey, because that's what I'm going to use next. If it is, that would be amazing, because in that case I could just reuse that puddle over there. But I have no idea if that is the case, so I'm just gonna make a new puddle. When opening his very first door in these halls, Flynn triggers a cave-in that separates him from the group and almost kills him again. Luckily for him though, Zarat could dig towards him as a giant badger. Meanwhile, Flynn found a little treasure in the arms of a skeleton, which, when opened, triggered a little poison trap, which almost killed him again, but also granted him a few little treasures. Let's start with the fishies. These fishies. And for those, I'm gonna use probably these two colors. Meanwhile, Laurel and Odia found two more oozes in one of the hallways. But luckily, we all learned a lot from that epic battle before, and they just kept their distance, slowly but steadily, killing them off with random range attacks. Apart from that, the group eventually reunited somewhere in these halls as they were opening the same door from each side. Laurel found some silver swords that he thought might be worth taking. Zarat discovered a very finely detailed, almost golden looking dagger with an unreadable engraving. Let's continue with the pot, because that one will just be straight up black. I was considering iron colors like sword silver or something, but I figured, nah, they're always black, so let's turn them to blackest black. And also I will probably fill in the inner areas of the campfires with this, like as if it was the hotter burned parts of the coal, something like that. I don't know. With every room they could find checked out, they head out to the dwarves to bring them the good news of a job well done. Dazlin, the talkative of the two, expresses his gratitude and, as promised, gives us the sending stones as a reward. However, due to how long it took us, he is kinda skeptical if we kept our promise of not taking anything with us. Alright, let's continue on with this one. And I will start with the bone, obviously, which is the good old boner color, as it's always gonna be. Except for last episode where I experimented with the other boner color, which was okay as well, but for a clean bone like this, no. Flynn decided to keep his little find to himself. He pulls out his poker face and successfully convinces everyone that he, in fact, did not take anything out of these holes, apart from some vials filled with the remains of those oozes, because God knows what he wants to do with that. Zarat and Laurel, however, got lucky that Odia's infinite beauty distracted the dwarves so much that they overlooked the additional stuff sticking out of their armor. That was one hell of a net 20 moment right there. So I'm gonna do what I would have loved to do back then with the mimics, if I would have known better, which is combining this with this. Yeah. And with that, the group heads out for a good night's sleep in the ruined village right before the excavation site. In the morning, they head back to Umbridge Hill to grab Gwyn, who also happened to be interested in our little Oozy vials. We traded one vial for a healing potion and continued onwards to Thunderlin. With fewer dragon attacks this time around, the group brings the mayor the news of their fulfilled commissions. Of course, he instantly follows up with yet another request, involving the delivery of mail and rations to a lumberjack yard in the middle of the Neverwinter forest. Yeah, I think I will try the should I start with the Fire Drake or the PG Flash? Interestingly, when I look at the camera feed, the colors look a lot more different than when I look at them directly, so judging by that image, I would try out the Fire Drake first and see how that goes. This request will have to wait a few days though, as the mayor has to prepare everything first. The group uses this time to pay the owners of Flöckchen a visit. To their surprise, the obese bunny is still happily munching on daisies all day long. However, the family is preparing to move to Neverwinter, as they no longer feel safe in this town. Let's continue with the strings and ropes, I guess. Those things, not the leather straps, the tiny ropes. Let's see, what do they look under the camera? Okay, yeah. This one. Most likely. Flynn and Laurel decide to visit the local blacksmith in hopes of upgrading their equipment. But while Laurel left empty-handed due to insufficient funds, Flynn lets the blacksmith reinforce his cloak a bit. And, in case you're wondering, for table talk, this would grant him one additional point of armor class. However, before handing over his cloak, he turns to Laurel. Hey, just a little heads up. I won't be able to talk to any of you until this is done. It's a long story, but basically, this cloak is the only reason I can speak with you guys. Laurel, slightly shocked, mentions this to the others once they return to the tavern. I mean, there's a lot of leather on these, so obviously leather. Fast forward 3 days, the cloak is done, the mayor has the rations ready, and Flynn spent the time crafting some specialty darts that he used back in Neverwinter. He has no means of firing these right now, but he is confident they might come in handy one day. Funnily enough, as I edit this video, these darts are actually a critical part of one of our plans for our next encounter. But that's enough spoilers for now. Fire. Fire, 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 fire. Time to play with fire. I have 2 fire colors here. I will start with that one for the top parts of the flames, and then as I go down I will convert to this one. Yeah. With the brand new commission, the mayor gives them a bull and a carriage to help with the packages. Flynn, being able of speaking with most animals, asks the bull for his name. Vincent. Not very talkative, but hey, at least we can call him something. And so, the group heads north. So, I hope you somewhat enjoyed this episode. If you are still sticking around till now, I very appreciate it, because that must mean that you probably enjoyed the story so far. And, well, that's pretty good, I guess. Anyway, I like how these figures turned out. It's a nice little cozy set, I think. I like it. But nevertheless, it was still quite a filler episode with no real encounters or anything really to draw or paint. So I felt like this was the best kind of action I could take. But anyway, next episode will be a bit more eventful again. I can promise. And anyway, until then, see you next time. Adios.